Watch me transform this beauty. Hi guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're highly welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much and God bless you. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I transform this beauty from start to finish. If this is what you would like to see, keep on watching. So please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. So I first of all cleansed her face to remove dirt and oil. Then I hydrated her skin with my Case Beauty Fix Spray. I let it dry before I moisturized. I used my Cetaphil moisturizer to moisturize her face. So make sure every product you apply on the skin during skin prep dries up before moving on to the next process product whatsoever. So after this moisturizer, I'm going to dry the face properly before primer. So for primer, I'm using my Gentle Dove mattifying primer on the oily areas on her face. So when applying a mattifying primer on the face, avoid areas underneath the eyes to avoid any cracking or anything whatsoever. So the under areas, the places underneath the eyes are meant to be moisturized, that's all. So I applied more spray on the face for more moisture, then I let it dry very well. It dried into the skin. I moved on to the foundation. I'm using my Ava foundation in the shade 05. So I'm just gonna apply it all over her face with my flat brush. So next I'm going to be spraying it with the same Case Beauty Fix Spray for easy blending. Then I went on using my beauty sponge to blend the foundation into the skin. So after blending the foundation, I'm going to be locking it up with the same Case Beauty Fix Spray. This will help the foundation not to move or go anywhere. Then I dried it with my fan before I moved on to contour. For contour, I'm going to be using my Flawless Ivy Concealer. I'm going to be using it to contour her face. Make sure you're good at blending. Blend. So for cream blush, I'm going to be using this shade, these two shades from my Blossom lip palette, and apply it above her contour and a little bit on the tip of her nose. Then I added a little bit of orange shade just to add more colors on the cheeks. So after this, next thing, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to blend it. So next is to highlight her face. I'm going to be using my Flawless Ivy Concealer in the shade Creamy Ivory to highlight her face. Then next I used my beauty sponge to blend the concealer on the highlighted area. So next I'm going to be using the same shade I used to contour her face to contour her nose. So after blending everything, I'm going to be setting the concealer with my Sacha Buttercup setting powder. Before setting, I went back using my beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath her eyes to avoid creasing. So to set, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to set. So I'm just going to take a little setting powder to set. Take it one step at a time. When you set, you dab, you press it in. Do not be in a haste. Make sure you set properly and do not pack setting powder so that you don't have patches. So I didn't recommend I set the forehead, the chin, and the other side. So I already powdered her face. Like I had to set the rest of her face with my Milani compact powder in the shade light. So what I'm doing now is to set the dry contour, the cream contour I did. So I'm using my Milani compact powder in the shade medium to set the cream contour. So when you want to set the rest of your face, anybody's face, it's best you use the exact skin shade of your model or your client or anybody. Then when you want to contour, you use two shades darker than your skin shade to contour. So after this, next thing I'm going to be contouring the nose with the same Milani compact powder in the shade medium to further enhance the nose. So I went back using that contour brush to blend everything again. So next I'm going to be applying some powder on the areas I highlighted. So I'm using my Milani compact powder in the shade light to do that. Then I went back using my powder brush to blend everything together. So now that everything is well blended, I'm going to be setting it with the same Kiss Beauty Face Spray. This would help to reduce the brightness on the face and helps everything sit well. Then I used my fan to dry it up. After drying it, I had to bake. So I'm using the same Sacha Buttercup setting powder to bake. So moving on to the brows, I already used my brow time to lay the hair nicely. So next I'm using my carrot gel liner and my angled brush to draw the outline following the shape of her brows. So next I'm going to be highlighting the brows with my Flawless Ivy concealer in the shade Creamy Ivory. So next I'm going to be blending the concealer with my blending brush. So next is to highlight the top of her brows. I'm using the same shade of foundation I used on her face to highlight the top of her brows. So next I'm going to be setting the concealer with my Milani compact powder in the shade light. So next I'm going to be using my Melanie compact powder in the shade medium on the inner corner of her lid. Moving on to the eyes, I'm going to be using my Viange eyeshadow base to prime her lid. So next I'm going to be applying some setting powder on the outer corner of her lid and a little bit underneath her eyes to avoid fallout from the eyes. Then I went back to blend the eyeshadow. Sorry, eyeshadow base I mean. So moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to be using this 4 color eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to use this shade and apply it on the outer corner of her lid. Then I added this shade on the outer corner to blend it out, then blended it towards the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to be adding this shade on the crease. Then I used my eyeshadow blending brush to blend everything together. So next I'm going to be using this shade, mixing it with this darker one and apply it on the outer corner of her lid. So I went back using the brush I used in applying the eyeshadow base. I'm just blending the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to be using this golden color eyeshadow from my beach wave eyeshadow palette and apply it on the inner corner of her lid. So next I added this shade on the inner corner of her lid. So next I added a little Avon pigment on her lid. I had to spray my brush first with my setting spray before I dip the brush into the pigment. It would help the pigment to at least stay. Some people like to use glue, but I prefer to wet my brush before doing it. Then I went back using my eyeshadow brush to blend everything together. So next is to line her upper and lower lash line. So I'm using my carrot gel liner with my angled brush to line her upper and lower lash line. So next I wore her lashes from Kaima Lashes. So after wearing her lashes, I had to press her false lashes and her natural lashes together. Then I used my powder to blend everything again. So next I'm going to be dusting out the excesses from the eyes, then blending it with my powder brush. So moving on to powder blush, I'm going to be using my House of Tara blush palette. So I used one of the shades, pink shade there, and apply it on her cheeks. Then I went back with my powder brush to blend everything together. After blending, I had to set with my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. So after setting the face, I had to dry it with my fan. After drying it, I had to bronze her face. I'm going to be leaving the name of the bronzer in my description box. Then next, I used my Maybach's Glow Dust highlighter on her face. Like I'm applying it on the areas I want to highlight to up. So moving on to the lip, I'm going to be using this brown shade from my Blossom Lip palette to outline her lip. So next I added this nude concealer in the middle just to brighten up the lid. So next I added some gloss on her lip. So for her lower lashes, I'm using my Saron mascara on her lower lashes. So next I'm applying this Mismetic cheek glaze on the areas I want the highlight to pop. Like it helps the highlight to glow the face. So after blending everything, next I'm going to be setting the face with my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. After setting the face, I went ahead to dry it. After drying it, I now sealed it up with my So Pro Seal It Spray. So after sealing it, I had to use my fan to, dry everything so that everything will absorb into the skin. And this is the final look, guys. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, share this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys. I'm going to be showing you guys what my bride looks like on her wedding day, so watch out.